We are rolling. Welcome back, internets. Welcome back to our weekly live stream. My name is Alicia, and this week we are going to talk about a grammar point. We're going to talk about if and when this week. I'm going to talk about the difference between these two grammar points, and I'm going to talk about some patterns you can use with them. A little bit of this might be review for some of you, but I also am going to include maybe kind of a bonus grammar point about the word when. So we have lots to do, as always. So as everybody joins, please make sure to hit the like button and share if you like as well. You can watch us on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter, and on Twitch. So I hope there's one service there that you can find that you like. So we're going to start in about 2 minutes. So until then, a couple of points while we get everything loaded. I see Facebook is up now. Great. Twitter is also up. Great. Hello, Twitter users, Facebook users as well. Is the chat coming? Hi, YouTube. I see you on YouTube. Great. YouTube is up. Hi, everybody. Jessica, Sharabar, Han, Rosenberg, Zaidan, Habib, Computer and Gadgets, Glober. Hi. And on Facebook, Hone, Yorleni, Balk, Farid, Hakim, Emmanuel. Hello, everybody. Welcome. All right. So, as I said, today we're talking about the difference between if and when. We're going to start in just a moment. So look at this thumbnail they made. Oh gosh, they made me the referee. I'm the referee between if and when for today. Anyway, that is our topic for today. So I chose this topic because we talked about this very, very quickly in a live stream a couple weeks ago. And there were a lot of questions about it. But also I noticed people make a lot of mistakes with this point. So we're going to talk about that. Woo! But before we do, a couple of announcements and an example sentence to begin you thinking. So I try to share some kind of example from my life every week in this live stream. So this week I did the same one. I made an example sentence. So here it said, yeah, lots of posts about a different project, but I said it's business as usual for the English class, the English channel, can't see. So business as usual means like regular activities. It's business as usual. It's regular activities for that thing. Then I said, if you have time, join our live stream tomorrow, if you have time. So why did I choose if and not when? That's what we're going to talk about today. If you have time, not when you have time. So this is a key difference, thanks. So if you have time, please join us. So I think you guys all had time, so you're here today now. Great. All right, it is 3 minutes past the hour, so I think we're going to get started. It is time to begin. Good, lots of people watching. Woohoo! Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's get rolling. So if and when are our 2 points for today. So I want to start with a quick overview, a quick introduction to the differences here. So let's start then with the word if. So I'm going to keep the blackboard like kind of separated like this for today's lesson. So I hope we can keep everything here. I hope I can write clearly. So I want to start with the word if. So one of the key points about the word if, we use if for something that has a chance of happening. Can you see that? It has a chance of happening. Something that is not definite. It has not been decided. It's just a chance that something might happen, a possibility. So some of you asked in a previous live stream, do we use if for like conditionals? Yes. So we use if for conditions. I'll write conditions, but maybe you know the grammar point, like conditionals, that kind of point, that kind of expression. And if conditional, we can use the word if to make a conditional statement. I'll show some examples in just a moment. So if is for chances. This is a big thing. A chance, something that has just a chance of happening. So that's another one. We can also understand this as unreal. So unreal means not real. The prefix un means not. So unreal situations. So not real situations. This is kind of a different way to understand the word condition, kind of. So I hope these are kind of some good keywords to keep in mind for today. So I'm going to introduce now, we'll see in just a moment, a couple of examples that you can use, just a couple of patterns, common patterns that use the if word here. So we'll see it in just a moment. I prepared it over here. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so some examples of how to use if to talk about something that's just a chance of happening or a conditional. First one is if I have time this week. If I have time. So I used that in my tweet example earlier too. If you have time this week. If I have time. Here, this if means there's only a chance the person will have time, the listener will have time. So I use if here, not when. I'll explain when in a little bit. Same thing here. If he gets a new job. So this means there's only a chance. There's only a chance he'll get the new job. Same thing here. If the project is successful. So these are all conditional statements. They're not true now. They're not real statements now, but they might be in the future. They might be in the future. So these are a few patterns, simple patterns we can use for if statements. This one's quite useful. If I have time this week or if I have time this weekend. Okay, but these are all future situations, potential situations in the future. We can use if, as I talked about, we can use if to talk about unreal situations in the past. So I prepared 2 example sentences just to give you an example of this. So these are future conditionals. So to talk about maybe potential situations in the future. However, we can use if to talk about unreal situations in the past. So let's look at some examples. Let's look at some examples. Yeah. All right, we got them. Okay, so first one here. This, by the way, this is kind of tough. Oh, I can't see. What does it say? I can't read it. If I'd gotten ready earlier, I wouldn't have missed the train. So this is kind of an advanced grammar point. Both of these use advanced grammar points. If I had gotten, this is a past perfect conditional sentence, actually. Past perfect. For those of you with more advanced grammar knowledge, past perfect here. If I'd means if I had. If I had gotten ready earlier, I would not have missed the train. I would not have missed the train. So this is an unreal situation. The speaker did not get ready early enough. So earlier here, the comparative form shows us the speaker wishes he or she had prepared earlier than he or she did. So again, an advanced grammar point here. But this is a past unreal situation, so we can use if to talk about that. Same thing here. We see the similar grammar point, different situation. If you'd, this you'd is you had. If you'd listened to your mother, you wouldn't be in trouble. If you'd listened to your mother, you wouldn't be in trouble. So again, a past unreal situation. It means it means the listener did not listen to his or her mother and therefore got in trouble. So this is some advice. If you'd listen to your mother, you wouldn't be in trouble. Again, these 2 sentences are more advanced grammar points. I just want to give them as examples if you are at that level that you're okay, if you're comfortable with these kinds of sentences. But they both use the if to express an unreal situation, one of our key grammar points today. Okay, so that's a quick introduction to if. Now, let's go to the word when. So we've talked about how if is for chances, conditions, not real situations. When, then? So we use when for things that are 100%. They are definite. They are part of your schedule. They are certain actions. They are regular actions. So regular behaviors, regular actions. So things you do every day or every week or every year, every month, whatever. Something regular. Something that is planned as well. So something that is planned. I'll write planned actions here just to be consistent. Okay, planned actions. Okay, planned actions. Okay, so these are things that we know are going to happen. It's 100% going to happen, or it's part of a regular schedule. They're regular things we do. So that means that if you're using if when you should use when, you can cause some serious communication problems. So let's look at a couple examples of how to use the word when. So, okay, I prepared a few examples. They'll appear at the bottom down here. I made 3 for this one. So let's look at some examples of regular actions. Ooh, squeaky chair. Okay, let's look at some examples here. So first, right here. When, I've got it here. When I wake up in the morning, I feel sleepy. So I've used when here because every day, I hope, we wake up in the morning. This is a regular activity. When I wake up in the morning, I feel sleepy. When I wake up in the morning, I feel sleepy. This is a regular situation. This is something that is 100%, I hope, going to happen. So we should use when here. Same thing here, but you can see the position of when has changed. So I always drink a lot of water when I go drinking with my friends. I always drink a lot of water when I go drinking with my friends. So using when here shows this is a regular activity. This is common for the speaker. So I always do this. When I go drinking. Same thing here. He always, so you can see this pattern, always, yeah? He always screams when he watches scary movies. So these are a couple, maybe strange, examples of how to use when for regular actions, regular situations. So using if in these sentences might sound strange, especially this one. If I wake up in the morning, I feel sleepy. That sounds kind of dark, like there's a chance you might not wake up in the morning. So please be careful to use when for actions that are typical. Okay. All right. So that's a quick introduction to the differences between these 2 points. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then we're going to look at if and some uses of if, and we'll look at when and some uses of when. So for now, let's take a break. I think there are a lot of people watching. Whoa, so many. Great. Hi, everybody. If you are just joining too, please make sure to hit the like button. And as always, we have a bunch means a lot. A bunch of free stuff for you guys this week. What could be interesting for this week? If and when. Oh, here's a good one. Yeah, so for travel, I know it's spring for lots of you now. So if you're traveling or if you're going to like business trips or whatever, you can check out this PDF if you're traveling, checking into a hotel. And there's some phrases you can use back here that could maybe be used with if and when. So conditionals, like if you have time, can you meet me for dinner at the hotel? Something like that. Oh, here's maybe another good one. This one is super important, I think, for today's grammar point. This one is super important, the romance one, for today's grammar point. Like if you have time, and when you have time, that's a key difference. If you have time and when you have time. So this could be a very important topic for this grammar point today. So if you have time, like let's get coffee, and like when you have time, please call me or something. Like there are small differences in nuance between these 2 expressions. So we'll talk about those a little bit later. But anyway, these are just a couple examples of the free stuff you can find at EnglishClass101.com. Please check the link below the video on Facebook and above the video on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. You can download this, and we have a bunch more. Woo! For free. Oh, did I say Gyaku? Below the video. Oh, sorry. Above the video on Facebook and below the video on YouTube, above the video on Twitter, and I don't know where it is on Twitch actually. But anyway, either way, please check the link for this free stuff. You can download this for free from our website. They are free PDFs, so please go check it out. I think there are like 13 now, like lots of different topics. So these might be some good ones for today. Yeah, there you are. You can see them. Good. So please go download these. You can download them now, or you can download them after the lesson. Whatever you like. Okay. Good though. So let us continue. Phew, I am warm today. It's getting warm. Okay, let's go on to the next part of today's topic. We're going to talk about the word if. We're going to focus in on if now. If you're just joining, yes, today we are talking about if and when. So please make sure to hit the like button on the video and of course share if you like. Yeah, there's some handy little buttons. Woo. Okay, so please hit the like button. It'll help other people find the video. Good. Okay, let's continue on to our focus. So we introduced if and when at the beginning of today's lesson, at the first part of today's lesson. Let's go to focus on if now, please. So I've talked about this point in a previous live stream, and I talked about this in an episode of Ask Alicia on the YouTube channel. So if you want some more details about this next point, please check the YouTube channel. Okay, so I said that if is used to introduce unreal situations. Unreal, if you missed it, means not real. It's not true. It's not real. Future, past, whatever. But when we make our if sentences, a simple basic if sentence, there are two parts to the if sentence. There's what we call the if clause. So a clause means like the part of a sentence for today. I won't go into all this detail, but the part of the sentence that includes the word if. That's one part of the sentence. Then we also have what we can call a main clause as well. So the main clause is the part of the sentence that does not include the word if. It has like a suggestion, some advice, the speaker's opinion, something like that. So there are two parts to a simple if conditional statement, if clause and main clause. So we can actually change the order of these two sentences. These two parts, sorry. We can use the main clause first and the if clause second. So this is fine. You can choose which you prefer. So I'll show you some examples of maybe the difference here. Nahom on YouTube, is this video live? Yes, it is. You are watching live right now. So yes, it is live right now. So these are 2 points I want to mention. We can switch the order of these two. But I want to show some examples of maybe how it could change the emphasis of your sentence. So let's look. First one. Let's look at the first one. If I have time this weekend, I think I'll go to my friend's party. And I think I'll go to my friend's party if I have time this weekend. Sorry, this weekend. There's not enough space for this weekend. But these two sentences, they mean the same thing, really. The only difference is here. This is really hard. Here, if I have time this weekend, this is my if clause. See, here is if. So that means it's my if clause. My if right here. And you can see it. I've ended it with a comma here. So if you're using your if clause at the beginning of your sentence, use a comma after it. So if is like it's what's called an introductory clause. So if you're introducing the idea in your sentence, finish your if clause with a comma. See, no comma here. Yeah? Because if is at the end of the sentence in this one. If I have time. So here's my if clause. If I have time this weekend. Second part, I think I'll go to my friend's party. This is my main clause here. I think I'll go to my friend's party. On YouTube, Larissa says, is my sentence okay? If you want to go to the party, must the homework? Almost. If clause, okay. If you want to go to the party, you have to do your homework. You have to do your homework. Close. Okay. Good. So here we have the same two sentences. This one, the top one, the emphasis is like on your schedule. If I have time this weekend, I'll go to the party. The second one, the emphasis is more like, I think I'll go to my friend's party. So it's like we're putting the party first, kind of. Maybe you're excited about that or your schedule is secondary. But either way, both of these are okay. We can use either sentence to express this idea. Let's look at, maybe I don't have time to do another one, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Shall we skip it? We'll have time We'll have time? Really? It's okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. Let's look at one more example of this then. So I made one more example sentence. Perhaps if you are very enthusiastic about a friend's success, for example. Let's look here. So the next example of switching if clause and main clause is this next one. We'll see in just a minute. Thank you. This one, you should buy a new suit if you get the job. And if you get the job, you should buy a new suit. Okay, so we see the same thing here. In the first sentence, you should buy a new suit if you get the job. We have main clause, you should buy a new suit. If clause, if you get the job. Second sentence is the opposite. If you get the job, if clause, you should buy a new suit. Main clause. So what's the difference here? The meaning is the same. The meaning is totally the same. But maybe the speaker is really excited, like their friend is applying for a new job or something. The speaker is really excited and gives their suggestion first. You should get a new suit. They might say it first, and then, if you get the new job. So they add that at the end. So maybe this is a situation where if you're super enthusiastic about like supporting your friend or something, you can use the main clause first. So, oh, you should do this if you get the job. Like, it kind of shows you're more enthusiastic here. But again, both of them are okay. Castro on YouTube says, if I have money, I will buy a watch. Perfect. No problem there. Good. Good, good, good. Okay. So these are a few examples. And yes, we can change the order. If clause, main clause, if clause. Both are okay. Alrighty then, let's take another break then. We're going to move on to when in the next section of today's live stream. So break time. If you're just joining, today we are talking about if and when, these two. And this hilarious thumbnail, like I'm a referee between if and when. If and when can be friends. They can be friends. We just need to know, when to hang out with them. That's all. Okay, everybody's very peaceful here. Okay, anyway, today we're looking at if and when, and if you missed it, we have lots of free stuff for you guys, our free PDFs. This week I was kind of pushing this one. I think this one is a very good one to practice your ifs and whens here, because if you use if and when incorrectly when making like date plans or even just friend related plans for like a coffee or a drink or something. If you use if when you mean when, or rather if you use when you mean if, you can maybe like make some people a little bit angry if there's a misunderstanding. So good one. Please check this out from EnglishClass101.com. It is free. And this one is also free. You can get it from the link above the video on Facebook and below the video on YouTube, above the video on Twitter. I don't know how many people are watching on Twitter, but anyway. And there are other ones too. So here's another. Oh, dining could be another good one for this grammar point. If you have a chance or when you have a chance, like talking to staff at the restaurant, this could be another really good one for this grammar point. Yeah, so please go check this out for free on the website, EnglishClass101.com. Okay, let's go to our last point for today, though. The last point, as you can probably guess, is about when. It's about the word when. Oh, that's interesting. About the word when. So we talked about if here. Do I need to do that? Okay. So we talked about the word when here a little bit at the beginning of today's lesson. Okay. And we talked about how we use when for things that are definite, for regular actions, for planned actions, and so on. So I want to give you sort of one more use of when that's quite different from if, so kind of a bonus grammar point for today. We can also use when for interrupted actions. So interrupted actions, I'll give you a visual. So an interrupted action means an action that was stopped by something else. So to give you a visual, here's, oh, this is quite small. Sorry, I'll make it bigger. Okay, that's better. So let's imagine you're doing some activity here, and then something happens at this point in time, and the activity changes. Can you see it? I hope you can. So this part where something happens, your activity, your first activity stops, and something else happened in that moment. So this is an interrupted action. So when we use this, we use first for this part, I'll call this part 1. We use the progressive tense to talk about your continuing action. We use progressive tense, or maybe you know continuous tense. Both are okay. Progressive tense or continuous tense there. We use when to mark this point when something changed. When is this point for change? And then here, part 2, that action, when we want to describe that action that made us change, that part, we use past tense, simple past tense for this example. So this is a very basic introduction to this style of sentence making. So I want to introduce some points. This is sort of hard to kind of imagine. So let's look at some examples of how to make sentences with this way. So first, again, remember, continuing action, part 1 here, progressive tense, ing, something, ing. Interrupted action, when. We mark the interrupted action with when. Finally, 2, simple past tense, to explain what happened at this point. So let's look at some examples. Oh, it's already up. Sorry. I was so excited about my grammar explanation. God, what a nerd. Okay. I was listening to music when the doorbell rang. So here is a great example. Past progressive. I was listening to music. I was listening to music. Progressive tense. When? Here's my interruption. The doorbell rang. So to ring is my present tense verb here. Rang is past tense. Good. Some nice examples on YouTube. Mr. Zrel, Xrel, I was working when he called me. Perfect. Nice. Good. Boo Boo on Facebook says, when I was searching on Facebook, I found your page. Good. When I was searching on Facebook, I found your page. That's okay. Yeah. Or I was searching on Facebook when I found your page. Something like that. Nice. Could be good. Other examples. So past progressive. Again, she was cleaning her room. Here's our progressive tense. Cleaning her room. When? So when? Here's my interruption. The action stops right here. She was cleaning her room when her mother called right here. So here's our simple past tense, called. When her mother called right here. Another one. He was working on his computer when his boss arrived. Yeah, nice one on YouTube. Baram, Alicia was teaching English when I saw her. I would say though, like the sentence is okay, but remember there's some change in this case. There's some kind of like, I don't know, something changes the progressive tense. Like Alicia was teaching English when she, I don't know, fell down. Yeah, like there's some not necessarily, you maybe stop what you were doing for a moment because of the change. So yeah, some kind of pause, some kind of stop. So it's, if you want to talk about two actions happening at the same time, you can use the progressive tense to do that. Like I was listening to music and studying. You can use the progressive tense, both of those together. Yeah. Good. I was cleaning my clothes when it started to rain. Perfect, Larissa, nice one. Freedom, I was playing football when my mother called me. Perfect. Nana, I was watching your video when my son called me. Perfect, good. Emmanuel, when I was cleaning up my backyard, I found your keys. Perfect, yes, great. Okay, on YouTube, you have a scandalous example. When I was searching for my ex on Twitter, I realized I was blocked. Whoa. Nice one. That's a great one. Woo. Okay, good examples, you guys. Fantastic. So you can use this when to explain some change in your past action. But also, just be careful too that it is quite different from if. Sorry, my hair is, I'm fussing a lot. So it's quite different from if, because if is just used for chances, when is used for definite. Sorry, it's falling in my face, producer. Okay, so that's quite a nice introduction, I hope, and a little bonus grammar point here. So please think about this. But the big takeaway point, I think, for today is this difference between a chance for if. So if something, if I have time, if you have time, and a 100% action. So I mentioned this can be a big problem when you're making plans with people. If you say, if I have time, I'll call you. And when I have time, I'll call you. They sound very similar, but if you say, when I have time, I'll call you, the listener expects you're going to call. If you say, if I have time, I'll call you, the listener thinks, oh, there's a chance that person might not call. So keep these small differences in mind when you're making plans with people so you don't give like the wrong expectation. It can be really important when you're building relationships. Yeah, so work relationships, friendships, whatever. Good stuff to know. Okay, but let's wrap up today's lesson. Yes, I have to go already. Sorry. But thank you so much for coming again this week. I'm very excited about next week's lesson, though. I hope you are excited. Next week, of course, we are going to be back with a new topic. How to share previous conversations. Okay, what does this mean? How to share previous conversations. This is about like reporting the things that people say. So like I said, he said, she was like, I was all. So how to talk about conversations, how to share things that people said in the past. Yeah, so this is really like, I want to focus on kind of leveling up your conversation skills. Not just said, but using some like native level, at least American English style patterns to explain the things that other people have told you. So this will be next week's topic. Maybe this will be a series, a conversation live series. I don't know. We'll give it a try. So this will be next week, April 18th. Next week, April 18th. That's Wednesday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 10 p.m. New York City time on Wednesday night. If you don't know your time zone, please Google it. I think at time and date or something like that. Yes, we are on live, Joshua, but we are finishing the live stream now. So please join us again next week, April 18th. We're going to talk about sharing previous conversations. This is going to be really, really fun, I think. Because I think you can, if you watch TV, if you watch movies, you will notice this point immediately. Like if you watch next week's live stream, I think you'll start to notice these patterns right away. You'll see them like right after if you watch TV and movies in English. So quite useful. But anyway, let's finish up there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thanks from everybody here. Thank you so much for liking the video and sharing the video and sending your great example sentences and your questions. If you have questions, please send them to me in the chat. I will check this after this live stream and collect your questions. And if I can, I'll include them in like an Ask Alicia video, or I don't know. We'll talk about them in another live stream too. But anyway, I have to finish. So thank you again for joining us today. Have a good night, have a good day, have a good weekend, and I will see you again next time. Don't forget to go download your free stuff from the website from EnglishClass101.com. Check the link below or above the video. I will see you next time. Bye.